Let's learn the future in French. I hope you saw my earlier video that's under 2 minutes long that gives you a very brief overview on how to form the future. Let's recall that l'avenir means the future, like the time period. Le futur refers to the grammatical tense, the future tense. On utilise le futur pour parler de l'avenir. Here's how to form it. You start with the infinitive. For example, finir, an IR verb, manger, an ER verb, étudier, another ER verb. Except for verbs that end in RE, you need to chop off the E with those. And then you add the future endings. Et, a, on, et, on. For example, je regarderai, tu regarderas, il regardera, nous regarderons, vous regarderez, elles regarderont, je prendrai, tu prendras, il prendra, nous prendrons, vous prendrez, elles prendront. Je grossirai, tu grossiras, elle grossira, nous grossirons, vous grossirez, ils grossiront. You should push pause and practice pronouncing those verbs. Some people have a bit of a hard time with the future tense. They can write it, but they can't say it. Being able to say it is super important. Oh là là, que c'est simple! Tu l'apprendras facilement. Oh, look at these sentences that use the future. Que sera, sera. Je regarderai la télé. Elles étudieront. Nous prendrons le dîner. Je me coucherai. Vous laverez la vaisselle. On se parlera. Nous nous parlerons. Let's talk about irregular verbs and stem changes. Irregular verbs, there are not a whole lot of them. There's a finite list. Let's start with the most important verbs: to be, to do or to make, to go, to have. Notice the future stem of être is ser. The future stem of faire is fer. The future stem of aller is ir. If you've studied Spanish, you'll notice that those future stems for être and aller look kind of familiar. Listen to how they're pronounced and take the time to pause later on and pronounce yourself. Je serai, tu seras, il sera, nous serons, vous serez, elles seront. Je ferai, tu feras, il fera, nous ferons, vous ferez, elles feront. If you're in one of my French classes, I expect you to be able to pronounce these correctly. So practice. J'irai, tu iras, il ira, nous irons, vous irez, elles iront. J'aurai, tu auras, il aura, nous aurons, vous aurez, elles auront. And here are some more irregular verbs, perhaps less frequent than the others, but equally important. Savoir, the stem is sort. Voir, the stem is vers. Envoyer, the stem is envers. Pouvoir, the stem is pour. Devoir, the stem is d'œuvre. Donc, listen to me pronounce, and then you should push pause later on and pronounce them yourself. Je saurai, tu sauras, il saura, nous saurons, vous saurez, elles sauront. Je verrai, tu verras, il verra, nous verrons, vous verrez, elles verront. J'enverrai, tu enverras, il enverra, nous enverrons, vous enverrez, elles enverront. Je pourrai, tu pourras, il pourra, nous pourrons, vous pourrez, elles pourront. Je devrais, tu devras, il devra, nous devrions, vous devriez, elles devront. And here are the last ones of that batch. Recevoir, to receive, you have je recevrai, tu recevras, il recevra, nous recevrons, vous recevrez, elles recevront. Vouloir is voudre. Je voudrais, tu voudras, il voudra, nous voudrons, vous voudrez, elles voudront. Venir, you end up with je viendrai, tu viendras, il viendra, nous viendrons, vous viendrez, elles viendront. Courir, to run. Je courrai, tu courras, il courra, nous courrons, vous courrez, elles courront. And falloir, very weird. Faudre, il faudra. Okay, there are a few verbs in French who have a stem change from the infinitive to the je form in boot verbs. Whatever change takes place in the je form will take place with the future stem. So, whatever difference there is between the infinitive form and the je form, that change will be replicated in the future. For example, appeler or appeler, notice the change between the infinitive and the je form. So you have j'appelle. And in the future, that change that happened in the je form happens on every single form in the future. So j'appellerai, tu appelleras, elle appellera, nous appellerons, vous appellerez, elles appelleront. Look at acheter. So you have acheter, or some people say acheter, and then it's j'achète. That stem change is held throughout all of the conjugations in the future. J'achèterai, tu achèteras, il achètera. There's a mistake there, isn't there? Nous achèterons, vous achèterez, elles achèteront. Nettoyer. See the change? Let's pronounce the future forms. Je nettoyerai, tu nettoyeras, il nettoyera, nous nettoyerons, vous nettoyerez, elles nettoyeront. Okay, now let's see what happens. Quand equals when and dès que equals as soon as. So the future works differently in French when we have two clauses in French. Okay? When we have two clauses that use the future, very often we have quand or dès que in one of those clauses. In French, we have to use the future in both clauses. This is not the case in English. In English, we say, we will eat dinner when we arrive. And that part in red is in the present tense. So after the word when, we use the present tense in English. Not so in French. In French, we say, nous prendrons le dîner quand nous arriverons. All right? So after the word quand, we use the future in French. We use the future in both clauses. Let's look at another one. She will leave as soon as you call. In English, after as soon as, we use the present tense. So we have two clauses, she will leave, and then as soon as you call. In French, we use the future in both clauses. Elle partira dès que tu téléphoneras. Okay? So we've used the future in one clause and the future in the next clause as well. And that is a big difference, and it's something to be on the alert for. Quand tu seras en France, tu apprendras le français. If you were to translate it word for word, it would sound funny in English. You would say, when you will be in France, you will learn French. We wouldn't do it that way in English, would we? Elles apprendront le français quand elles seront au Québec. Il achètera le pain dès qu'il descendra du métro. Apporteras-tu le guide quand tu partiras demain? Okay, pronounce after me, or actually you should pause it and pronounce every few words. I'm not going to give you space, otherwise this video will be way too long and you'll never watch it again. Je me lèverai à 8 heures. Tu viendras à 8 heures. Vous viendrez après. Tu te brosseras les dents. Ils liront leurs livres. Il servira le café. On prendra le train. Elle posera des questions. Elles ne répondront pas. Tu cacheras les réponses. J'essaierai de t'aider. Nous chercherons les mots à l'Internet. Tu résoudras les problèmes. Elles courront en cours d'éducation physique. Nous ferons des films. Nous créerons de bons titres. Vous ferez des films. Vous rendrez des films. Ils rendront les films. Thank you very much for watching. You might want to try these exercises.